Sometimes I think I buried my courage.
Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master, and today we're diving deep into the twisted, fiery, and downright tragic story of one of the most infamous Targaryens in Westeros history, Prince Aerion Brightflame Targaryen. You might remember him being mentioned in the Tales of Dunk and Egg, or know him from the upcoming HBO adaptation, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, where he's played by Finn Bennett. But behind his noble blood and charming looks lies one of the most unhinged, self-destructive, and terrifying figures ever to carry the Targaryen name. Let's peel back the silver and gold layers of Aerion Brightflame, his origins, his madness, his crimes, and the fiery end that turned him into a legend for all the wrong reasons.
Speak to my horse.
I'm not a stable boy, my lord.
Not clever enough.
The birth of a monster. Aerion was born into House Targaryen's royal line, the second son of Prince Maekar Targaryen and Lady Diana Dane of Starfall. He had quite the family around him. An older brother, Daeron, who struggled with drinking and nightmares, a younger brother, Aemon, the future Maester Aemon of the Night's Watch, and the youngest, Aegon, better known to fans as Egg from the Dunk and Egg stories, who would one day sit the Iron Throne as King Aegon the Fifth Targaryen. From the start, Aerion stood apart, where Aemon was thoughtful and studious, and Aegon was kind-hearted and curious. Aerion was cruel, vain, and full of himself. He believed that the blood of the dragon didn't just run through his veins. He thought he was a dragon. It wasn't just arrogance. It was delusion. Aerion would call himself Brightflame, dressing in fiery reds, golds, and yellows to match the dragon he believed burned inside him. His clothes screamed for attention. Rich velvet, bright colors, and even his tournament armor gleamed with red enameled flames. He made sure everyone saw him as something divine, something untouchable. But behind all that pageantry was a man spiraling deeper into madness. Cruelty in blood. The signs of Aerion's sadism started young. There's a story about him throwing Aegon's pet cat down a well just because he could, and then lying about it. Another time, he snuck into Aegon's room with a knife in hand, pressed it against his private parts, and joked about cutting them off so Aegon could become his sister, someone Aerion could then marry. That's not mischief. That's the kind of cruelty that makes even Targaryens whisper in fear. And this wasn't random. Aerion's obsession with dragons made him feel superior to everyone. He saw himself as chosen, pure, and divine. Everyone else was beneath him. He thought that pain and fear were ways to remind others of his power. His father, Maekar, a stern man, probably didn't help. Maekar was known for his strictness, and Aerion learned to smile and flatter in front of him, while saving his venom for others. Behind Maekar's back, Aerion was a monster, a liar, manipulator, and bully. Even his own brothers despised him. The Ashford Tournament, a clash of pride. Aerion's most infamous moment came in 209 AC, during the Great Tourney at Ashford Meadow. This was where the lives of Aerion, Aegon, and Sir Duncan the Tall, or Dunk, collided in ways that would echo across Westeros. Aerion arrived at Ashford like he was the star of the realm, strutting around, mocking knights, and demanding respect he hadn't earned. When he met Dunk for the first time, he mistook him for a stable boy and ordered him to tend his horse. Dunk corrected him, saying he was a knight, but Aerion only laughed and sneered. That small encounter set the tone for everything that followed. When Aerion entered the lists, he pulled one of the dirtiest moves ever seen in a tourney. Instead of aiming his lance at his opponent's shield, he deliberately skewered the man's horse, killing the poor creature and injuring its rider. People gasped. Even among Targaryens, such cruelty was shocking, but Aerion didn't care. He enjoyed it. That night, his arrogance reached its breaking point. A group of puppeteers performed a little play about a brave knight slaying an evil dragon. A harmless story for the crowd. But to Aerion, this was personal blasphemy. He was the dragon, remember? And how dare anyone suggest a mere knight could defeat him? So he stormed into the tent, destroyed the puppets, and broke the fingers of a young puppeteer named Tansale. That's when Dunk stepped in. Dunk versus Aerion, the hedge knight and the dragon. Dunk, who was squire to a hedge knight, and a man of honor despite his humble birth, couldn't stand by and watch a young girl get tortured. He punched Aerion right in the face. Yes, a lowborn knight striking a Targaryen prince. Instantly, Aerion's men grabbed Dunk, and the prince, seething with rage, ordered them to beat him, break his teeth, and cut open his belly. That would have been the end of Dunk right there. But then came the twist. Aegon, the same little boy Dunk had taken as a squire, revealed himself as Prince Aegon Targaryen, Aerion's own brother. The guards froze, and Dunk's life was spared. But the damage was done. Dunk had struck a prince of blood, a crime punishable by death. The Trial of Seven. When Aerion demanded justice, he didn't want a fair trial. He wanted vengeance. Normally, Dunk could ask for a trial by combat, but Aerion insisted on something much rarer, a trial of seven. 7 knights on each side would fight for justice. Aerion thought this would guarantee his victory. After all, who would risk their life for a hedge knight? But Dunk found allies, men of honor who saw Aerion's cruelty for what it was. Among them were Prince Baelor Targaryen, Aerion's uncle and the crown prince himself, and Sir Humphrey Harding, the man Aerion had injured earlier. Even Sir Rymond Fossaway and Lionel Baratheon joined Dunk's side. Aerion's team, on the other hand, included his father Maekar, his brother Daeron, 3 Kingsguard knights, and Sir Stephen Fossaway, Rymond's own cousin whom Aerion had bribed with promises of lordship. The fight was brutal. Aerion managed to wound Dunk, striking him from his horse with a morning star, but Dunk, with sheer grit, dragged Aerion down and beat him into the dirt. He smashed his shield into Aerion's face until the prince's helm shattered and forced him to yield. The monster was finally humbled. Aerion even made Aerion publicly renounce his accusation, proving that not all dragons could terrify the realm. But victory came at a terrible price. Prince Baelor, who had fought to protect Dunk's honor, was struck in the head and later died, a tragedy that haunted both Dunk and Aegon for years. Exile in Lys. After Ashford, Prince Maekar had finally had enough. Aerion's madness, cruelty, and arrogance had gone too far. He exiled his son to Lys, one of the free cities across the narrow sea, hoping the experience would change him. Spoiler, it didn't. In Lys, Aerion lived as he pleased, surrounded by luxury, drink, and mistresses. Some accounts even say he joined the Second Sons, a notorious mercenary company. Others claim he fathered bastards who might still live in Lys, carrying the cursed blood of the Brightflame line. But wherever he went, Aerion's delusions followed him. He still believed he was destined to become a dragon. He still looked down on everyone else. Return to Westeros and the Blackfire Rebellion. Aerion eventually returned to Westeros and fought in the Third Blackfire Rebellion in 219 AC. Details are scarce, but it's said he performed deeds well known, likely involving more blood and fire. When the Blackfire leader, Aegor Rivers, also known as Bittersteel, was captured, Aerion demanded his execution, but King Aerys I, his older brother, refused, sending Bittersteel to the Night's Watch instead. That decision enraged Aerion. He saw mercy as weakness. He wanted to cleanse the realm in fire, to burn away the impure, and he believed only he could do it. Marriage, madness, and the final flame. Eventually, Aerion married his cousin, Daenora Targaryen, and they had one son, a boy he named Maegor, in 232 AC. That name alone was chilling. Maegor, like Maegor the Cruel, the tyrant king who murdered his own kin. By this time, Aerion's madness had consumed him completely. He started calling himself Brightflame more than ever, and became obsessed with proving his divine nature. He didn't just want to be a dragon, he wanted to become one, and that's exactly what led to his horrifying death. In one of the most infamous moments in Targaryen history, Aerion drank a cup of wildfire, believing it would transform him into a dragon. He thought his blood was strong enough, his will powerful enough, that the green fire would awaken the dragon within. Instead, it burned him alive from the inside. Witnesses said he died screaming, writhing in agony as wildfire consumed him. It was the perfect, twisted irony. The man who thought he was fire died by fire. The legacy of Brightflame. Aerion's death left behind a son, Maegor, but the realm wanted nothing to do with that bloodline. When Aerion's father, King Maekar I, died the following year, the lords of Westeros gathered in the Great Council of 233 AC to choose the next king. Aerion's son was passed over entirely. The fear that he'd inherited his father's madness was too great. Instead, the crown went to his younger brother, Aegon V Targaryen, the same Egg who had once stood up to him as a child. It's poetic justice in a way. The cruel, self-proclaimed dragon destroyed himself, while the kind, humble boy he tormented became king. In the end, Aerion Brightflame stands as one of the clearest examples of the Targaryen curse, the thin line between greatness and madness. He had all the beauty, pride, and fire of his house, but none of the wisdom or restraint. He's remembered as a man who thought himself divine, but whose legacy became a warning that no matter how pure your blood or bright your flame, arrogance and cruelty will always consume you in the end. So next time someone talks about the madness of the Targaryens, remember Aerion Brightflame, the prince who thought he could become a dragon and burned himself to prove it. Our nerdy thoughts. That's the fiery tale of Aerion, Brightflame Targaryen, a prince who lived and died by his delusions. Let me know what you think. Was Aerion's madness inevitable because of his bloodline, or was he just born cruel? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more Duncan Egg and Targaryen lore deep dives, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Your Nerdy Show. Until next time, this is Spoiler Master signing off. Burn bright, but not that bright.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.